Hi! So, this is a Fireside Chat. We're clearly at a real fire, and not my green screen.
Totally not green screen.
Ow! It burns. Anyway. So, big part of this is old DM, new DM. Chris here played in my games back in high school and college. And I'm here. The marble of this beautiful fireplace.
It's a beautiful fireplace. I can feel the heat coming already.
The fireplace that still has a slight chunk of the plane of purple behind it. Just wisping there. Shit.
Yeah, no,
anyway.
it can be a fireplace pointing out, like coming out.
It comes out a little from the wall. That's totally it. Yeah. But so Chris came to me asking about how to be a DM. We were not expecting anyone at the door, but here we are.
Here we are.
I'm gonna mess with this when we do the VOD. Jeez. Anyway, Chris came to me asking about how to be a DM because I've been doing this for 17 going on 18 years. You only need 7 to be an expert, so that means I'm an amazing expert.
He's senpai.
Oh no. Now everyone's going to notice me and my tax evasion. No, I'm joking. It's not illegal if they put it in the law.
It's true.
Yeah. If they tell you how to avoid your taxes, it's not illegal.
Hey.
But Chris had some questions. Chris is also a streamer. I thought it might be fun for us to put this out there so that you guys can use all this as well. For more digestible chunks, if you're watching this on YouTube in the future, this is already on the channel you're on. But this is going to be on the Alchemyprime channel where I'm putting videos on how to be a DM. And that'll help. Apparently Frere got new PJs.
New PJs?
That's not next to the fireplace. So that's not important right now.
Not stockings on the fireplace.
That's the important part of a fireside chat. We're chatting next to this clearly real fire, not 2 videos stacked on top of each other. We are clipping in and out sometimes. Woo! Things are happening. Anyway.
Reality TV's a bitch, isn't it?
It's live TV at the very least. Jeez. All right. So, Chris, you had some questions.
Yeah.
So, go. What's on your mind?
Well, the first question was always, how to be a DM. Like, how do I create a story that's not already printed in a book?
Well, the first thing you have to remember is there are only 8 stories. So every story is already printed in a book. All right? Most of these stories boil down to this. A man walks into town. Man versus nature, man versus man, man versus society, man versus self. I think man versus bear is in there, but that's probably just man versus nature. Man versus beast, right?
I can't stand you.
What? No, those are real. That's not all of them. Man versus bear is me dicking around.
Yeah, I know.
But the rest of those are all real, right? Those stories are already in there. And then you have, like, you're thinking, well, I want to make this new campaign. Somebody's going to compare your campaign to something.
Well, of course, because there's always somebody out there who's done the same thing as you have probably once in their life.
I mean, the saying is there's nothing new under the sun. And that's written in the Bible, and that book's old as hell. So, I'd say it's older than hell, but I'm pretty sure hell actually came first. But, like, it's an old book, right?
Right.
Multiple world religions are built off of it. And if they're saying nothing's original...
Nothing's original.
Nothing's original. I mean, even you're in D&D. Anything you make in D&D is going to be compared to Lord of the Rings, to Legend of Drizzt, to any of the D&D video games that are out there, to any games that have ever taken inspiration from D&D, right? Like, for example, if I told you I was going to have our campaign set as you go from island to island, helping out this naval empire, right? Undercoming threat from the aboliths and the krakens, who for some reason are working together. Don't worry about the fact that lore says they hate each other. Just somehow they are now both attacking this empire. And they're kind of in an enemy of my enemy situation. And you have to help them, and you decide, well, I'm going to mix it up. I don't want to use the normal races. I'm going to use the Turtles. Turtles are a good race to use. the Aarakocra, because you want some birdmen. Maybe you're going to use the Aven from the magic books instead, but you got some options there. So some bird dudes.
Right.
Bird dudes.
Bird dudes.
Humans. Gotta have humans.
Always have humans.
You know what? Everyone's going to be tempted to do a no-human game. Be very careful with that.
Right.
If your players just don't choose human, that's fine.
Right, but always have the option to have a human.
Have humans there because it's going to make new players feel like it's an easier time to get in, right? But anyway, so if we have this naval game and you have like turtles and Aarakocra and let's say Ganassi, but you're only using Plague Ganassi, right?
Okay.
And let's pick one more. Let's go with the Maenads, right?
Okay.
So you picked like 4 weirder D&D races to augment the humans, right? Eventually one of your players is going to go, hey, wait, we got reptile dudes and bird dudes and sick dudes and psychic chicks. This is Mass Effect.
I hate you so much for making that reference.
Right? If you're going like everyone can play a human or a Ganassi, you're playing Avatar.
I have nothing for this.
It's true, isn't it?
I have nothing. I tried.
The Ganassi are elemental people.
I have nothing.
Right? And if you're...
But wait, which one would be the Avatar then?
You don't have to have the Avatar in your party.
You just have the 4 elements.
You just have the 4 elements.
Until the fire nature attacked.
Right, and so like there's a fire Ganassi kingdom and they attacked everybody. Oh, but maybe you're being cheeky and it's the air Ganassis who attacked everyone this time. Ooh. Like, no matter what, you're going to have somebody compare something to something, right?
Right.
Lord of the Rings is a World War I drama, right?
And it's more the basic comparisons because it's already a fantasy world.
Right. Like they're going to make those comparisons no matter what you do. If you're running a Mutants and Masterminds game, they're going to compare what you're doing to the Avengers. Right? Oh, but we're a team of superheroes with different powers. Yeah, I guess.
That's what the Avengers are.
That's what the Avengers are.
DC also.
It's the Justice League, that's the Fantastic Four, whatever.
Original.
We don't need to be super original here. Second thing to consider, right? If your players haven't interacted with that story before, it's a new story to them.
Right.
Don't feel afraid about using pre-published adventures. Or just using one as a starting point.
That's also true.
Right? One of my favorite adventures of all time is a pre-published adventure. It's Expedition to the Barrier Peaks. And everyone who likes the old school adventures typically will pick White Plume Mountain or Tomb of Horrors. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Tomb of Horrors is a meat grinder, nobody's living. So that's not my favorite.
Murder hobos.
White Plume Mountain is also fun, but White Plume Mountain is much more of a where do we go from here when you're done. I guess you go and play Return to White Plume Mountain, but then you don't have to change anything. Right? But Expedition to the Barrier Peaks opens up so many doors when you're done that your players can choose what they want to do. You can do that with any adventure, honestly. If you started with Lost Mines of Phandelver in the D&D starter box, which you can download that adventure for free, if I remember correctly, right? You can a lot of parties start from the Lost Mines of Phandelver, right? And their experience is going to be different, right? If I'm running, just for example, a druid, let's say it's a halfling druid and a gnome bard and a human fighter and a dwarf cleric, even if I have those same characters between two groups, who's playing those characters is going to make it a different experience.
That's correct.
Right? So don't feel afraid about starting with a pre-made adventure. Don't feel afraid about starting with a pre-made campaign setting. Right? Nobody's expecting you to come along and make everything from scratch. And as somebody who used to do that, it takes too much dang time. Now, sometimes there is something to be said about doing things from scratch. It's fun to do that, right? And take inspiration from places people aren't going to expect it, right? Don't feel you have to put yourself in the same D&D box as everyone else. One of my most recent campaigns I laid out that does not have pre-made adventures in it was inspired by the music of Ninja Sex Party and Steam Powered Giraffe, a series of essays I read online, the Fallout games, and the Lord of the Rings, but not the story of it. Just the idea that they're in, like, the third age, and now the fourth age is coming, but the first age was so much cooler, and I thought, well, what happens if you're, like, at age 21?
That sounds like, people choosing different editions of D&D.
It kind of is, and that's what one of my biggest jokes is if I ever send people back in time, I hand them second edition versions of their characters.
Don't you do that to them? Don't you?
I totally do that to them.
Don't. If anybody knows, second edition sucks.
How dare you?
In my opinion.
Second edition is fantastic for what it is.
THAC0 score is evil.
The THAC0 score is difficult for people to understand, right? But I think having it in such a way where people can, like, come to appreciate it. Playing with THAC0 makes you appreciate base attack bonus and proficiency bonus.
Yeah, it did.
But also, THAC0's not hard. THAC0 is just poorly explained in the book, right? So everyone thinks THAC0 is hard because it's written in this weird esoteric way. Am I saying that THAC0 is better than base attack bonus or proficiency bonus? God, no. But it's sometimes fun to play with the quirky shit. The idea of I roll an attack roll, I get this big bonus, and then I subtract it from something and try to get as low of a score as possible, as close to negative 30 as I can. That's kind of fun. That's weird.
It's weird.
It's different.
Yeah, it's different.
Right? For the same reason that, like, playing Marvel superheroes, the face rip system, is completely different for somebody who's only played D&D. Because they're not used to, here's your percentile dice, this is all you'll ever need.
A lot of times you don't even use percentile dice.
That's all you use in that system.
Oh.
So that system, it's all percentiles all the time. And you have a chart. And you roll it and see what color you are on the chart.
Okay.
Based on your stat. Right? So you have, like, over here is 1 through 100, or 0s through 100.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And on the top is what your stats are.
Right.
Which is typically 1 to 100, but there are characters who go up to 1,000, but not you guys. Because the Hulk is 110 in strength. That's your scale. Because who's stronger than the Hulk? Nobody's stronger than the Hulk unless you have, like, Galactus or fucking Zeus on your hands, right?
Even then, Warbreaker Hulk,
Right, exactly. I'm saying, like, normal, just mad as hell Hulk is 110, right?
Okay.
So, like, Cap is at, like, 45.
Right. They enhance human strength.
Right. So, like, if your character's, like, at a 15, it's like, that's normal.
You're like the Hawkeye.
Yeah, you're the Hawkeye when it comes to strength. If you're at, like, 2, you're Aunt May. You're like, and not even movie Aunt May, you're comic Aunt May. You're frail old woman.
Frail old woman.
You're gonna die. But you have, like, this table, and it tells you, like, what rank of, I think it's, like, 13 per rank. Mm-hmm. And then you roll on it, and it's like, if you have a red, that's a crit fail. A yellow is you pass, but something bad happened. Right?
Basically being unlucky.
Yeah. And green is you succeed, and then there's, like, one little bar of blue at the bottom, and that's, like, a crit.
Okay.
Right? So it's like, yeah, you could crit. You could totally crit. If you have, like, a 2 in something, your chart is mostly red.
Right. You have a small percentile.
Aunt May, lift this truck. That's not gonna work.
Unless you roll 100%.
Oh, yeah, and she has, like, a -2 penalty. Fuck!
Damn it.
Meanwhile, it's like, Hulk, move this truck. Hulk, use pinky. Hulk, fancy.
Fancy.
But yeah, you play that kind of system with somebody who's only played
Speaking of
D&D
fancy.
5th edition.
Pinky out.
Then they're going to, of course...
I say that as I drink my drink through a straw.
We didn't have any bendy straw, or curly straws. I'm so sorry. You have to settle for a bendy straw.
Right? Who doesn't let you drink the drink from a...
Yeah. We should get you some of those ones that are glasses. Then you don't even need to...
Man, next idea.
Okay. But yeah, so, like, don't feel bad about your idea being unoriginal.
Right.
What you should feel bad is if you're railroading your players. Right? If you have detailed out this whole epic poem level story, and you're going to be like Homer's The Odyssey on this, and your players veer off and you, like, punish them. No. Don't do that. Make your punishments realistic.
Right. Not like, you know what, roll, somebody dies automatically. No.
Not even roll. Some DMs will just kill you. Or tell you there's no way this will work and have sharks eat you. I was reading r/RPG horror stories, or maybe it was D&D horror stories. One of the horror story subreddits. Because there's some good stuff on Reddit, and they keep shutting down a lot of the bad stuff. Reddit's getting better every day. Anyway, they had one, it was a horror story, and the point of it is, like, bad DMs and bad players.
Right.
So this DM went, hey, to save everyone time, I built your characters for you. first red flag. Right?
Never let your DM build your character for you.
If your DM
He can help.
insists on it, that's where the problem is. Like, if I was running a game for, like, you, me, Michaela, and Frere, and you're like, hey, I don't have enough time to build a character, can you build me a human fighter?
Give me the basis of what you want, and then I'll help you out.
And then I'll build that for you. That's fine.
P.S. 3.5 edition Psionic Warrior is the best.
Psychic Warrior is fun. Actually, there's a Psychic Warrior in this story.
All right.
So but if your DM is doing what this guy did and said, I'm going to build your whole character for you, don't let him. Like, if he offers, and you're like, hey, can you build my swashbuckler? Then that's fine. That's fine, right? But if your DM is like, hey, I built these characters, you guys have to play them. Run so far away. So this DM, he built a human swashbuckler, right? A human psychic warrior, a half-orc barbarian rogue, and that's their whole party. It's those three guys.
Barbarian rogue.
Oh, I'm sorry. And a warforged bard.
A barbarian rogue doesn't sound good at all.
It's already off to a bad start, isn't it?
Like, you're sneaky, but also you're, like, raging.
Mm-hmm.
That
it could work.
It could if you have the proper stats for it, but...
If you built that character yourself, I'd let you do it.
Right, because
if your DM is insisting you have to play it.
Right, it's different.
If you go to your DM and go, can you make this work? That's what I love to do. I love to help your idea work. If your DM is saying, hey, let me help you make your idea work, that's fine. But this guy going, hey, here's these 4 characters, you have to play them. A gold-plated warforged bard, a young psychic warrior with no one to train him, a human swashbuckler, and a half-orc rogue barbarian.
So Johnny Depp.
Nah.
Swashbuckler.
You're close, but no cigar.
No.
All right, so they come up with the idea. The Warforged is given a letter. He has to deliver it to this old man living on this continent far off. He gets there. He can't find the old man. He runs into the Psychic Warrior. The Psychic Warrior helps him find the old man. The old man is actually secretly a Psychic Warrior from this order of this whatever fucking Mind Templar, right?
Right.
And they goes, hey, well, we should go to the big city, and we'll find somebody to help us. And they meet with the other two. And the swashbuckler had a ship, and so they get on their boat, and go, and they get to the big naval base, which is a floating fortress. And everything's going fine, and then the players go, well, I mean, this thing's too big for them to defend everything. Let's just swim up to it. And the DM's like, no, you have to pretend to be guards. Pretty sure we can swim it. Oh, the Warforged can't swim. I have water walk prepared. I'll just walk over.
There you go.
Right? And so the players are trying so hard to use their plan, and the DM's fighting them. I want you to consider something, Chris. What's a story about an artificial man going to the desert to find somebody to help him save a lost princess? They find an ancient knight who was part of a destroyed order by the Empire. So he has to train this new kid, and they meet 2 scoundrels. The DM was taking them through Star Wars A New Hope verbatim. Right?
I didn't want to say it, thank you.
And when they tried to veer off of it, he threw a hissy fit.
Don't do that.
Don't throw the hissy fit. Well, reward your players.
Right. For being creative. Creativity is like one of the best and worst things in D&D.
There's 2 sides to it. A lot of people say creativity is bad. That's being obstinate. Right?
Right.
Creativity should be rewarded. Being obstinate should be punished.
Okay.
So, let me give you an example. If I have a party, let's say I have 2 parties, I'm running them through the same campaign. Part of this is they find out that there's an evil Lich King. He's going to revive in 6 months, summon an army of the damned, so just, zombies and half-fiends and
pit
minotaurs.
Fiends.
There might be a pit fiend in there, right? We'll go over the rule of 6 in a minute. That's important, all right? But it's like, oh, there's all this shit happening in 6 months, and you have time to stop it, right? And I'm going to give you the breadcrumbs to lead you to what you have to stop, and I have a list of things you have to do, and each thing you do will change the final battle, okay? Let's say it's 4 things.
Okay.
And then the 5th thing is the Lich King rises.
Right.
Okay. I have 1 party, and let's say they go, oh, well, we need the flame of a dragon kept in a bottle. And I'm expecting them to go fight the red dragon off in the mountains, and they're going to pull out his fire organ and keep it in a bottle. Because that's what I had planned. But they go, hey, wait a minute. Isn't there a legend of a gold dragon in your world that was, like, down to the south? And they go in an entirely different direction. And they just get this dragon to be nice and friendly and breathe into the bottle. I'm going to reward my players with that.
Right, because gold dragons are usually nice anyway.
Gold dragon's usually nice. And now, this cool gold dragon can, like, chill out in battle with them. And it's like, oh, the Lich King's here. Never worry, friends!
I will save you.
So, yeah, they have less magic items because they didn't kill the red dragon.
Right.
But now they got a gold dragon on their side. How badass is that?
Magic items, actual magic creature.
My biggest answer, by the way, one of my biggest things that's been a gripe of mine. If I befriend a dragon in your campaign and you do not let me have a dragon friend, I'm going to be mad. And I've had a DM go like, well, what's the point of having a dragon friend? There are 3 whole movies about how great it is to have a dragon friend.
And then there's one movie where it happens when you bone a dragon.
I think you mean Shrek?
Yes, I do. Dragon
You can get some dronkies. I was thinking how to train your dragon.
I know. I said, you said there was 3, and I was like, there's a 4th one, though, but we don't talk about that one.
5.
Also Dragonheart.
There's Dragonheart.
Aragon.
Dragonheart 2.
Aragon.
Aragon's How Nice It Is. There are countless movies about befriending dragons. If there's 2 things, we have countless movies to tell you about. The 2 lessons you should learn from movies. Befriend dragons, don't clone dinosaurs. That's the end. That's every lesson in movies you ever need.
No, machines will rise and kill us all.
Not necessarily. Sometimes machines just become voiced by Ewan McGregor.
I'll give you that one, sir. Touche.
Or they'll save us from a life of complacency on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get WALL-E, sometimes you get the Terminator. Sometimes they're both.
Sometimes.
Anyway. But, dialing it back. So first party, they go and, like, befriend the gold dragon instead. I want to reward them for that. Oh, you need water from the deepest sea. And you expect them to, like, go underwater with these bottles of air, and instead they, like, go on out and go, hey, Mr. Merfolk, hi, we'll give you this water if you go to the bottom of the Marianas Trench and get us some water. Or we'll give you this gold. Oh, damn, I'll take some gold.
Right.
Thanks, kid. Right? Bottle first. That's fair. Right?
I like the voice.
And then you go and, like, make a second underwater version of the party to play the merfolk and their friends. Right? And now it's like, for one adventure, and this is their reward, essentially. For one adventure, you're going to play this underwater party who has to go underwater. Right? And so their characters still had their agency, and you still get to run your game. Right? Except, oh, well, instead of being your normal party, you have, like, a merfolk and a triton and a lokathaw and a turtle. And everyone gets to play something different for a day, and that's fun too, right? Okay, let's go to the other party, though. And the other party goes, no, we don't want to fight the Lich King. We're going to open a brothel.
I mean...
I'd let them.
The inevitable is the Lich King's going to, like, destroy the world, but hey,
Yeah.
if you want to have fun until the world is destroyed, go
And
around
so,
and...
6 months later in-game, because you have to keep track for this type of game,
Right.
Party A has, like, all the weapons they need to fight the Lich King. They got a gold dragon friend. The other party shows up to assist them. Maybe the Earth thing got them, like, the arms of a golem that one of them can summon around his own beefy arms. Right? And so, like, they're decked out, and they get to feel this sense of accomplishment. Right? The other party have a talk with them first going, look, I made a campaign about you guys fighting the Lich King. This is the game you guys signed up for. If you're changing your mind now, understand I am not changing the campaign world at all. And if they go, yeah, that's fine, we're still opening a brothel. They better defend that brothel with their life, because they have none of the prerequisites for fighting that Lich King. They have to go up against a much harder CR.
Now, what if somebody rolled the charm the Lich King and said, hey,
Okay,
who
diplomacy.
doesn't want titties?
Diplomacy. One, he doesn't. He can't get an erection. It withered away years ago.
There's a loophole in this somewhere, I know it.
Okay, so here's the thing. Diplomacy and charm are not instant brainwashing. One, liches... In fact, do you have the monster manual next to you?
I do. I have my own.
Yes, we're going to use 5th edition for this, because that's what we have on hand.
And that's what the current meta is.
The current meta is whatever you want it to be.
Oh, that's true.
If I wanted to play a 2nd edition campaign and everyone signed up for it, I'd pull out the Monstrous manual instead.
Brand new pack just opened today.
The waifu catalog. Okay.
Alternatively, the husbando catalog.
It can be 2 things. Alright, so let's go over to Lich, Jackalware, Lamia... Lich, here we go. Alright? That's a lizard folk. There he is. Okay. Just looking at this. Challenge rating 21. The scale is 20.
I would open the brawl. Fuck this shit. I'm not fighting this thing.
Well, wait. He is immune to poison, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks. He's immune to being charmed. He's immune to being exhausted, frightened, paralyzed, or poisoned. Right?
He can be burned.
He can be burned. He has 9th level spells. Paralyzing Touch. Resistance to turn undead. Legendary actions. He can do 3 legendary actions.
Legendary actions suck, by the way.
Legendary actions are fantastic, but
when you fight against the monster, and then you're like, oh, it has legendary actions. Like, what is it? What is? I don't know what it is.
So, what you can do with this, though, we'll get into action-based monsters in a second. All right. This is what the party that's unprepared has to fight.
I see where you're going. To where the party who's doing everything would fight a lesser challenge.
Well, we'll take the Lich, and we'll give him he still has everything he has here, right?
But now you're more prepared for it.
But now you're prepared, because, we said he could be burned. You have a Gold Dragon on your side, right? And the Gold Dragon has legendary actions, too. He's on your side.
Wait, hold on. It says he can't be charmed?
Cannot be charmed. Immune to charmed.
Okay.
All right? You have that water, and maybe you got it blessed by the merfolk's god, and so you can, firebomb him with it, and now he lost his turn immunity.
But you can't. But isn't that basically turn undead, kind of?
Well, no, what this would be is it makes it so he can be turned.
Ah, okay. Loopholes.
Yeah, so you get things to get rid of some of these. Now it's an easier fight. Have you played Breath of the Wild?
No, actually.
Okay, do you mind if I spoil something for you?
I've seen Let's Plays of it, so it's cool.
If you beat the 4 Divine Beast dungeons, Ganon's fight is easier, right? But if you just rush in, you have to fight him at full power with no items, right? The party that said, we're just going to open a brothel and do social shit
has to fight powerful Ganon.
They have to fight the powerful Ganon. The one that went out and did what you asked
fights easier Ganon.
Fights the easier Ganon. And they did it creatively, so maybe they get a couple other boons, right? But, look at this. If you have, we're fighting a Lich, well, let's go over to dragons, right? Let's look at that Gold Dragon. Because they befriended a Gold Dragon. We just established this. Maybe not an Ancient. Ancient's too old. Let's do adults.
Too powerful, too.
Well, challenge rating 17. Let's go. Young's too young.
I'm talking about ancient dragons.
Yeah. But, what's this? His breath weapon? 60-foot cone of 12d10 fire damage?
Jesus Christ.
Lich ain't standing up to that. Alright? So we gotta reward our players with what they deserve. Okay. Now for action-based monsters, right? Mm-hmm. You do not need to use the legendary actions in that book. Your players will expect the legendary actions in that book. But we mentioned that this is a Lich who's raising the army of the damned, right? Mm-hmm. What if some of his legendary actions are summoning forth the damned? Right?
Okay.
And let's make it on a little cycle. Turn 1, bam! 2d6 zombies. That now the party has to deal with this too. And the prepared ones, they have a bunch of soldiers who can fight the zombies. Maybe the ones with the brothel have some whores who can fight the zombies. That might work, but that's not what they signed up for.
You never know.
You never know. You get voguing zombies with one, and that's how they win. Then, number 2, maybe a bunch of imps. Or, a cloud of bats, and they're zombie bats. So it's zombie bats. Nobody wants to deal with this. Right? And then by, turn, let's say 6, the Lich is, Pit Fiend.
Pit Fiends are evil.
Yes, they're lawful evil, in fact. They're the highest type of Batazu. So, you have tools at your disposal, right? One of the biggest things that bothers me with DMs is they always talk about how, my party's too strong. My party's imbalanced, right? If your party's imbalanced against the monsters, that's not a problem. You're God. Do you think God sits up there going, this Elon Musk guy, he's doing too much. I don't know about that Michael Phelps, he's swimming too hard. He min-max swimming. No. That's not how gods work. Maybe Zeus.
Zeus is an asshole.
Maybe Zeus. One of my favorite books is Zeus Grants Shitty Wishes.
And also, if you're hot, Zeus will fuck you.
it don't matter what you look like, Zeus will fuck you. Anyway.
There you go.
But, like, you're God. You can change things whenever you want. DMs, I'm going to say this. One, you're not here to beat your players. Okay? You're not here to beat your players.
Right, you're there to give them, a challenging story?
You're there to give them a fun time. And it's the same thing as being an adult playing in the adults versus kids softball game.
Granted, some adults take it too far.
That's what I'm saying. Some DMs take it too far, right? You don't want to be the dad. If you're like a dad or an uncle, right? Like if one of my nephews came up to me and went, "Uncle Rob, can you play in my softball game?" I go like, "Why is your voice so squeaky?" But sure. And like I'd go play. I'm shit at softball, but I'll do it, right?
Right.
And like, yeah, I might get a decent hit on the ball every once in a while, sure. I'm in the camp of, yeah, hey, we all did good. Let's go out for some ice cream, guys, right? Some of those dads, they get a home run, and then they'd be like, yeah, fuck you, to a 4-year-old. What the hell, man? Calm the fuck down, right? Some DMs are like that too, right? They look at a dead character, and they revel in ripping up the sheet in front of their player, or burning it, or like, framing it or whatever, and it's like, dude, it's a game. We chose to do this with our Saturday. What the hell? Right? I've never had a TPK.
I was close to a TPK, but that's only because we had special guests, and he gave them the option to grant any wish, the wish spell, and he was going to wish for a TPK.
Why?
Because it was a one shot that he wanted to be an asshole. Which
asshole.
is totally okay, because a TPK for me just means, hey, we didn't make it, let's start again.
Okay, I take that back. No, even with Dungeon Crawl Classics, I did not have a TPK, and that's the system built for having a TPK. You start with 5 characters to run through the adventure because you know they ain't making it. And I had one person who got like halfway through the dungeon, got his hands on like a big silver platter, and he just kind of looked at me and went, "Hey, Rob, what's the economy like?" "What do you mean?" "How much would I make in a day?" "I don't know, 5 copper." "How much is this worth?" 100 silver. "I leave the dungeon." And he just took like 1 room's worth of treasure and left.
Which is kind of smart.
It's smart. And one person just never died. They just got lucky rolls the whole time. Everyone else was on like their 4th character by the time we beat the dungeon. Even the dude who like left basically said, "Yeah, I did it because I wasn't enjoying that character."
That's totally fair.
Mm-hmm. Completely fair. So then you get to, yeah, like I've never had TPK. I feel bad when I kill a player. It's character. Player's character. I have never killed a player.
Probably thought about it once or twice.
Oh, yes. There's been some strangulation dreams. There's this one guy playing electrokinesis psychic warrior. Oh. Anyway. Actually, you were not the only electrokinesis I've DM'd for.
I didn't play Electro because I played the Silent Warrior every time you DM'd.
Oh, you're right. Rashad did the electrokinesis.
There you go.
Now I came pretty close to strangling your brother a few times.
Sometimes I want to strangle him too.
That's fair. But no, like, there's multiple different ways to DM. So first off, don't feel bad if your way is not mine or Brennan Lee Mulligan's or Matt Mercer's or Griffin McElroy's.
Sorry. I want to say this right after the booklet. What he said, don't try to be like these people.
Don't even try to be like me. Also, don't be so arrogant you put yourself in the same company as Matt Mercer and Griffin McElroy and Brennan Lee Mulligan.
What makes these people great is they have a great team with them.
That's true. I have no team. That's not true. I have McKella, who's very helpful. I have Frere. We do not have a budget.
There you go.
There's no budget here.
And everybody's not a voice actor.
That's true.
A renowned voice actor.
Yeah, I'm not a renowned voice actor. I'm an amateur. I've done indie shit, but yeah, it's fun.
Like me, I can do white, black, and black, black. That's all you're going to get from me.
I do a decent Starscream, but it ruins my voice if I do it for too long.
Yeah, you did it for my blog, which was fun.
I also do an OK Megatron, which does not ruin my voice as badly. I do a lot of Decepticons, I'm coming to notice here.
Despite being the resident Autobot.
I am a resident Autobot. I'm a Autobot in disguise.
All
Don't
right.
judge me, Magnus. Anyway.
That's it for our show. Let's get out of
No,
here.
it's not. Okay. So, you had a question about building a world.
Yes. So, how would you build a world? Like, if you didn't want to play one of the already pre-made ones, you wanted to build your own.
Sure. Okay, so here's what you're going to want to start with. Every time I build a world, I make like a little list, right? What's the theme? What makes this different from the Forgotten Realms, or Greyhawk, or Dragonlance, or Eberron, or Dark Sun, or Amonkhet, or Kaladesh, or what other fucking places have been published?
Avernus.
Birthright, Avernus. What's different from all the other settings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Greyhawk is sword and sorcery, Conan the Barbarian style games. Forgotten Realms is like Renaissance-ish era fantasy kitchen sink. Eberron is the Roaring Twenties with crossbows. I love Eberron, by the way. Birthright is the god's blood is literally in the nobles, right?
Okay.
But beyond that, it's War of the Roses. So, kind of Game of Thrones. So, like, you look at the pre-published ones and go, what do I have that's different, right? Like, there's two that fit post-apocalyptic vibes. You have Dark Sun and you have Descent into Avernus, which is part of Forgotten Realms, because it's part of the Great Wheel, and adding the, what are they called, the War Machines?
Yeah, the Warforged?
Not the Warforged.
War Machines?
They're like vehicles in Avernus. You get like Mad Max cars.
I have not played into Avernus.
Okay, so yeah, you get like Mad Max cars you get to zoom around in. You get Doom buggies,
That's pretty
as
cool.
I would call them. And like that's different, right? So if I want to play a post-apocalyptic game, I want to make sure that it's different from Descent into Avernus, or Dark Sun, or Fallout, right?
Right.
Or Gamma World.
Not saying that you couldn't take pieces of each one and put them into your own.
Of course, like Fallout and I'm saying Fallout as a D&D thing because there's any big enough franchise you're going to find D&D conversions online, and you can use them. Go nuts. Don't let me stop you. But like Fallout and Avernus both take notes from Mad Max, right?
Right.
Comparatively, Dark Sun takes more of a gothic horror vibe, but puts it in a post-apocalyptic. I'm saying gothic horror. That's not right. Environmental horror.
Okay.
Right. It's a post-apocalyptic dystopia, in that there is still society, but they're not. It's not like, oh, this is the beautiful city of Candlekeep, like you get in the Forgotten Realms. It's welcome to curfew's at 7. If you're out past that, the Templars will beat you senseless. That's the good city.
Oh.
So that puts it in perspective there, right?
Right.
Because the bad city in Forgotten Realms is like Baldur's Gate, where everything's illegal all the time, right? But nobody punishes you for it. In Dark Sun, it's the Necropolis.
That doesn't sound nice.
It's full of dead bodies, and it has a big evil lich dragon as its ruler.
So now we have a lich. Now we have a lich dragon.
Yeah, and his whole deal is like he acts. I think his name's like Dragoth or something like that. I can't remember. It's been forever since I've done
Sounds like
Dark Sun.
Alduin from.
And his whole deal is like he'll go to the surrounding cities or send out his messengers. It's like, you must bring forth a wife to be sacrificed to the great lord. And then they just like live with him until he gets bored of him, and then he offs them.
The wife or the city?
The wife.
Oh.
And if he doesn't like what they did, he'll go up to the city and just barf liquid hot sand all over them and then leave.
Asshole.
He's an asshole. All the Dragon Kings except for even Hamanu's an asshole, but he's at least the one you can trust. Anyway, Hamanu's the king of Ur. All of the leaders are essentially sorcerers who became dragons who have taken the place of gods in Dark Sun, right?
So you tell me if I build a sorcerer, he can become a dragon.
In Dark Sun, yes.
Oh, I know what my next campaign's gonna be.
Yeah. Meanwhile, if you're like over in Eberron, right, you're not going to run into anything like that. That's completely different, right? So like that's one thing you got to consider is how is this going to be different. So like if you want to make your own world, let's consider how is it different from an existing campaign setting. Is it worth it for me to not just use that campaign setting? right? So that's part of it. Like honestly, if your whole thing is like, oh well, I love Eberron, but I wish there were guns. Just do Eberron with guns. I do Eberron with guns.
I mean, you can just put guns in anything.
Just put guns in.
There's
It's the American way. Add more gun.
America.
I mean, tomorrow's 4th of July. Add more gun.
More guns, less fireworks.
Uh,
No, more fireworks, less guns. I don't know.
More both. Let's add some more apple pie on it. Diabetes and bullets.
Cheesecake is better.
Bullets.
Diet bullets.
They're bullets that immediately give you diabetes. Anyway,
That sounds worse than just being dead.
you just get shot and it's like, ow, I'm bleeding. And my blood sugar's really high. Anyway. What?
Damn.
Are you saying God damn it at me for that?
Yes.
Okay. So, like, that's one thing to consider, right? How is my setting different, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, for example, we don't have a good Indian setting. The closest we have is Kaladesh. There was...
Indian as in...
India.
Okay, India. Okay.
The Indian subcontinent.
Okay.
The closest we have is Kaladesh. And Kaladesh is basically... The people look Indian, and there's Indian food everywhere. But mostly it's a steampunk setting. Right? It's steampunk without the colonialism.
Get it? Because they're all tech support.
No, in fact, that's mildly racist. Anyway,
Mildly.
yes. But you have, like... So that's a steampunk setting that just has Indian set dressing. That's not an Indian setting. Then there's Mahasparata, which is, like, stereotype Indian.
Okay.
It's like, that's kind of worse, right? Because you don't look at Forgotten Realms and go, oh, this is just England, right? It's like, no, they take inspiration from England in some places.
What's the American version?
Oof. I'd say... I've worked on an American setting before. I would say the best setting for America would probably be... Eberron has a bit of it in Sharn, but not really. There's no real... I'd say that's the closest to an American setting you're going to get. Some people would claim Avernus. That's more West Coast America, horrible cars and blazing hot heat. But for, like, just straight up America in D&D, there's not really one. A lot of people try, and a lot of people just go into point of we're parodying America with D&D stuff. I would say the best American D&D setting that still feels like D&D to me is the one from Dimension 20 for Fantasy High, where it comes off as like a 1950s version of The Breakfast Club.
Huh.
Where like everyone's going to high school and they're worried about prom, and it feels, because that's what real American culture looks like to most people, is Riverdale essentially.
I haven't finished that show yet.
You see what I'm getting at there,
Yeah,
right?
I got you.
Anything else, you're either just going to get into like, in the grim dark future, here's Emperor Trump, or the flip side of it of our paladins wear stars and stripes. Our country's not old enough to really get a good fantasy setting yet. The best you can get is, I'd say Deadlands also works.
Okay.
Deadlands is an Old West setting, but the Old West kind of works. I actually have 2 American settings. I'm a liar. I have 2 American settings on my shelf right now. One is colonial America, and one is the Old West. And both of those feel very American. And then, like I said, Sharn and Eberron feels kind of like America. It's like New York, right? 1920s New York.
Ah.
But no matter what you do, if you're making a setting, it has to be in the past, right? You can't do a modern day setting because you're going to end, at that point, just do the real world. If it's closer than like the 60s, just do the real world, right? It doesn't work otherwise. Now, that said, you can take, like I said, make something that's your own, right? So if you're going, well, I want a Old West style setting where there's a bunch of gunslinging, everyone's got the Rudy Tooty point and shooties. Guns, sorry, that's the word. And then you have, but I'm going to make it a little different. Maybe, I don't know, sky whales are used like zeppelins or something. Like, you can mix it up, right? But then there's also the point where somebody's going to go, why aren't we just playing Deadlands? So, see what you can do different,
Okay.
right? You want to pull it far away enough that people don't have that reaction of, why aren't we just playing this instead? Now, if their answer is, why aren't we just playing normal D&D? They're just being a schmuck. Right? Because what is normal D&D? Normal D&D was Fantasyland.
Right.
Right?
Make your own.
Just
fantasy.
make your own. Put everything in everywhere. And also remember that your Forgotten Realms, Chris's Forgotten Realms, are going to be different from my Forgotten Realms. Which are going to be different from the viewer's Forgotten Realms. Which are going to be different from Matt Mercer's Forgotten Realms. Which are going to be different from Joe down the street's Forgotten Realms. Your version's going to be different. We can all start at the same place.
But have a different ending.
It will. It will by the nature of the game, unless you're railroading. I'm out of my coffee alcohol. Actually, I could use my water bottle. Where did I didn't bring that in with me. Rats. Can you grab my water bottle for me? Thank you. Asking our stage crew, which is my wife. So, like, don't worry too much about your own world. If you want to do your own world, do it, right? But don't build the whole world. If we're going to make a world, here's where we would start. We would go with, give me a city we could be in, tell me who the gods are, and tell me who's in charge.
Okay.
That's all we need. So here, let's build this together. What's the name of our village? Because the players have to come from somewhere.
Right. What's a good original village name?
Oh, don't even worry about that.
Okay.
Look at the cities in the world, right? They're either taken from Indian names, Hispanic names, or they're named for what they are, right? Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Like Springfield, it was a field with a spring in it.
What about Iceland? It's actually green.
Yes, that's because of good marketing. That was to make Greenland look better. But like, don't use that one. Like Riverside runs alongside the California River.
Right.
Every city named Riverside's next to a river.
Okay, let's say the starting village is his name is Oceanic.
Oceanic.
A port city.
It's a port city. Okay. So what is their major purpose as a port city?
Trade, fish trade, and livestock.
Okay. So you went straight to city. It's bigger than we want, but we know there's a city nearby now. What's our little town off to the side? Are they the farming village that has all the livestock?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go with some good names for that, right? We go with the funny name, like Cow Pie, right?
Right.
Mud Bomb. Or we can go with a more serious name, like, oh, we're a borough that has a lot of steer. This is Steerborough, right?
Okay.
It's like Steerborough. It's like, that sounds like a good village name, right there. What else we got? Well, there's a brook. Maybe it's Steerbrook.
Steerbrook is also good.
Steerbrook, I think, is a little stronger. Let's see what else we could do with it. Maybe. So we have the brook, we have the steer, but maybe it has another thing. Maybe it's Brookfield. Right? I think Steerbrook's our winner.
Okay.
So we have the village of Steerbrook, which is near the city of Oceanic. Who rules Oceanic? Do they have a mayor? Do they have a baron? Do they have a duke?
Let's give him a duke.
Okay, so there's the Duke of Oceanic, and so he's also in charge of Steerbrook.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, we need some gods, right? Now, we don't need to worry about evil gods yet.
Right.
We're looking at the goods and neutrals. This is your normal people. All right, we're going to get into the rule of 6 here in a second. All right? So, but we need to make sure that there's a god for everybody. Okay? And the best...
the question is, who's everybody?
Everyone in the party.
Okay.
All right? We need everyone in the party, and we need the average person, and we can overlap. All right? So, for example, if we expect a god to care about people whose alignments are theirs or one step away, right? So like a lawful neutral god also cares about true neutrals, lawful goods, and lawful evils. We want to make sure that every version of a fighter in your party has a god.
Right.
So, what kind of gods work for a fighter?
Isn't Bahamut the...
Well, you could use the pre-made gods. I'm saying if...
okay.
We're making a world, so we're going to make our own gods.
Oh, we're making our own gods.
Well, don't even give them names yet. Right?
Okay.
We have a god of bleh.
Okay. So we have a god of harvest.
God of harvest. All right, and that's good for the average person.
Right.
And of course, clerics are automatically covered. We don't need to worry about clerics needing a god. Clerics need every god.
Right.
So clerics are covered. And our average person, most people in a farming village are going to care about the god of the harvest, right?
Right.
Okay.
Why Freyr was the most popular god in Norse mythology.
It's true. That's why Freyr was the most popular god in Norse mythology. Weird that they're my roommate now. Now, what we could do with that, so we have like a god of the harvest. And the god of the harvest, what alignment are they?
I would make them true neutral.
True neutral is fair. Remember that a true neutral and a neutral good god of the harvest are going to be viewed differently,
Yeah.
right? So like for me, what I like having is a neutral good god of the harvest and a chaotic evil god of drought.
Okay, so now you have one for each spectrum of the line.
Right, but now we still have lawful over here. Lawful evil's getting left out.
Okay.
Right? So maybe a lawful neutral god of property law, which sounds really like persnickety, but that's what a lawful neutral god would be.
Yeah.
And so your lawful neutral guys are the ones who go like, I'm sorry, in this horrible time of drought that we're currently going through, I'm afraid we need to requisition your grain stores.
You said lawful neutral, I think you mean lawful evil.
That's the lawful evil cleric of a lawful neutral god. Whereas the lawful good one will go, so I found this loophole
Right.
that will let you keep 40% more of your grain than we actually needed to requisition, and I hope that helps your family. The lawful good cleric is essentially Mr. Incredible at the beginning of The Incredibles, saying, I'm not telling you to go down this hallway and talk to Bob in accounting. Don't do that. You might want to write this down. Right? Whereas the lawful evil one's his boss.
Right. People keep calling me.
Okay.
I apologize.
So we got, like, a god of property law, we got a god of harvest, we got a god of drought, right?
Mm-hmm.
What about a god of war?
Well, yeah, because, we have a city, and,
Yeah.
cities go to war.
Is it a god of, like, noble war or a god of destructive war?
Well, when you hear the word duke, what do you think mostly? A normal war or...
I don't know. It can go both ways for me. But what I'm thinking is...
Are we going to run an evil party or no?
I don't think so. But what I think we could have is, like, a lawful good god of valor. And then a chaotic neutral god of war and all of its destructive properties.
Right.
That still leaves out lawful evil, so maybe if we had, like, a neutral evil god of slaughter, right? Or murder. Now all of our people who want to fight...
Myself.
Slaughter feels more chaotic evil.
Yeah, that's
But
more
neutral
the micro.
evil could go slaughter as well.
Well, because it's Steerborough.
Oh, yeah, so he's the god of slaughter, but he's also the god of the slaughterhouse.
Ah.
So
well,
that's why we have to keep this neutral evil god around.
Wouldn't the god of harvest be work too? Because, you're harvesting...
Well, yeah, kind of, but, like, both work. So, like, they have a little altar to the god of slaughter in the slaughterhouse to make sure that he knows that the slaughter of the cows should satiate him.
Right.
They don't need to go slaughtering babies. Maybe some veal, but that's different.
Maybe.
Right? Excuse me. So right there, we have made 6 gods, right? Our wizards are still kind of left out. The god of laws can kind of work for the lawful wizards.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, maybe we need a god of whimsy. Right? Or a god, and that's like where our chaos sorcerers and the bards get their power, and he's the chaotic good god of baby's first laugh.
Or how about chaotic good of...
The magic of song.
There you go, yeah, something like
Right?
that.
And he's like, it could be both. Gods can be multiple things.
More broad.
Well, gods can be multiple things. Like, Apollo is the sun. He's also medicine. Right? Same kind of thing here. Like, we went murder, but also slaughterhouses. Just when animals are killed.
Right. Because you're feeding both narratives of slaughter and murder.
And then you have to pick, do I want racial gods?
More of a flavor thing.
It is. We don't need them. We could say that all dwarves follow the god of the forge, but the god of the forge is not a dwarven god.
Right.
Right? We could do something like that. What races are in this world? Do we have the standard 9?
Orcs, humans, elves, dwarves, human variants.
So, like, the standard ones in the player's handbook. Dwarf, elf, gnome, halfling, human. We would say orc to include half-orc.
Right.
Elf would include half-elf. All the elf variants are included in that. Tiefling, dragonborn. Right?
It's 8.
I was saying 9. Who am I forgetting? Did I say gnome?
You said...
Dwarf, elf, halfling, gnome, orc, dragonborn, tiefling, human. Oh, and there's the halves. So the half elf is in the 9, but I don't include them here.
Okay.
All right. So yeah.
Oh, what about 8? No, not 8. 8 smarts don't count, do they? As a 9.
ASMRs are not in the player's handbook.
Oh yeah, they're in the.
They're in the Dungeon Master's Guide.
There you go. Yeah, Dungeon Master's Guide.
So like we could include all those, or we could say no, those aren't allowed. I'm personally more of a fantasy kitchen sink kind of guy by nature, unless the setting has explicit rules.
Goliath? Or there else?
They are in Volo's Guide.
Okay, Volo's Guide.
Some of the Furbolgs.
I'm hung up on the last one. I'm like, which one is it?
The last one's half elf.
It's half elf.
But I didn't include them when I was counting them off because I say elves and half elves should count together.
Saying like orcs and half orcs and like human and human variant, which I don't understand the difference.
Okay, so the point of human variant is, do you want them in your group? If you do not run feats, because feats are an optional rule in 5th, then you do not allow variant human.
But feats make everything so much better.
Ooh, I've been talking too much today. Woo. Okay. Variant human is for if you have feats and you want something closer to the 3rd and 4th edition human.
Okay.
If you don't want to use feats, which some DMs don't, I personally do. There's 1 or 2 feats I think need to be banned, but
which ones are those?
I'm blanking on them. There's one that just like gives you luck points whenever you need them.
Oh, lucky.
That's it.
Yeah.
Lucky can go. Or rather, if you're gonna have lucky, don't give your players so many long rests.
That's true.
Long rests are one of your tools as a DM. If your players are going Nova in the first fight and then going, okay, time for a long rest, no. What? No. You just got up. You are not falling back asleep for 8 hours at 9 a.m. That's not healthy. That's depression. Don't do it. But yeah, if you have a different idea of what races you want to include, then mix it up a little. Like in Ravnica, I think Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica is actually behind you. They do not have dwarves. There are no dwarves. There are no halflings. I think it's under the fireplace. Yes. Behind Lord of Madness.
That's that last book.
Just grab both of them just in case we have to go to that book too.
Thank you. Oh yeah, there's 3 books. Aha. Yeah. So like in Ravnica, you have elves, you have humans, you have half elves. Half elves are more up to DM discretion. Mm-hmm. They aren't technically part of Ravnica. I allow them because I think it's more fun to have them. And their dark elves are different than the drow, which is also its own thing. They have a weird name. They also have like centaurs. Oh, here we go. Devkarin are their dark elves, and they're different than the drow.
Okay.
Right? They look like wood elves. They have the bad light vision. They don't have the magic.
That's bad.
Well, they have a different set of spell abilities.
Okay.
But it's up to the DM to determine what they should be. I personally put druid magic in there instead because I think it's more fun.
Well, magic.
Centaur.
Loxodons.
Loxodons. Goblins.
Hobgoblins.
Not hobgoblins. Just goblins.
Just goblins.
In normal D&D, a goblin is an offshoot of a hobgoblin. In the magic settings, hobgoblins are specific to the plane of Lorwyn. Everywhere else, it's just goblins. Minotaurs, Vidalkin, and hybrids. Hybrids are exclusive to Ravnica.
Yeah, the systemic hybrids.
Yeah, and they're very, very fun.
I tried to make a character, but my DM said no. We're not doing them MTG. He said that's from the MTG, right? Systemic hybrids. Yeah.
This is one of the magic settings. My personal 5th edition game that I want to get off the ground is an all Planeswalker game, though we're a little bit stingier on the rules about Planeswalking than the magic novels are. Because you have to be, or otherwise every battle would be like, okay, I'm leaving. Bloop.
Planeswalk.
Planeswalk away. Goodbye.
Bye.
It's like, no, don't be like
just
that.
throw in a stipulation you can't planeswalk because you've been blocked by magic.
There's ways around it. But like, I would let somebody play a Simic Hybrid, sure. Right? Assuming they're from Ravnica.
Right. But I think the reason why he said no for me is because I'm more of a new player.
Yeah, they're a weird race.
Yeah.
They're a weird race, and you're new to 5th.
Yeah.
So,
because I'm for people who don't know, I'm new to 5th. Like right now in my campaign, I play an artificer, which is a total new
class for you.
and it's something out of my comfort zone. That's why I played it, because it's out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
You know, and I encourage people to play things they're not comfortable with, because it gives you more of an understanding of other classes.
I would say it depends on what kind of comfort you're using.
Well, I mean, like that kind of comfort. Like, say,
Yeah.
you know what, I always play
I always play a fighter, so let me play a caster of some
Right.
kind. That's smart. If you're like, oh, well, I always play a good character, so I'm going to play like a barbarian who eats babies.
No,
don't do that.
I mean, class wise, and
Yeah.
and also race wise. Like, if you always go for the elf, like a lot of people
Try
do.
dwarf.
Try dwarf. Try an orc.
Try Goliath.
Goliaths are fun.
Don't try a Tojanita. That would be weird.
Or Warforge.
Warforge is fine, but don't try a Tojanita. You don't need to be a weird crab sea turtle thing.
Or what's those, the Gith?
Okay, the Gith are a fucking headache, man. Alright, the Gith Zerai are fine. Getting a Gith Zerai into a party is easy peasy, right?
Right.
Because the Gith Zerai's base alignment is lawful neutral. They're just grumpier than the dwarf. That's fine, right? Or they're all Aang, right? I can accept either grumpier Gimli or Aang in this green dude, okay? The Gith Yankee, on the other hand...
Gith Yankee.
Dang Gith Yankees, they default to chaotic evil. And yes, I know the whole race alignment thing. They live in a dictatorship run by a chaotic evil Lich Queen. If the Gith Yankee in your setting don't do this, that's fine.
Right.
Right? But default...
I think in the description they have a chance to opt out of the... They say it's usually a chaotic...
Yeah, it's usually now, and that's fine. I agree with that. Right? But if you want to run a Gith Yankee in your party, keep in mind that people are going to look at you and assume you're evil.
Right.
Because even just how you look is different from a Gith Zerai. Even though they're related, right? The Gith Yankee is going to have, like, the top knot and the bright red hair and the dark brown hair, and typically be much more gaunt. And also part of this, if they're from the astral plane, you don't age on the astral plane. Typically, whenever a Gith Yankee shows up, they're going to raid villages for a while they raise their babies, right? Comparatively, the Gith Zerai, they don't need to show up. They live on Pandemonium. They're fine, right? This also brings up the question of, how are you bringing these multiplanar beings into my game? Like, Aasimar and Tieflings, I have ways around that, right? Like, if you're going with the whole, Tieflings are descendants of the people who made that horrible cursed deal years and years ago, that's easy. My ancestors made a deal with the devil. No big. Or, my dad's a warlock. Or my mom's a warlock. Or my mom had a drunken one-night stand with a demon in disguise down at the crossroads. Whatever.
And that's what happened. That's how I became born.
The Aasimar, one of my favorite ones is Pathfinder's way of getting the Aasimar in. Can you see what the chat says there? Does that say UG?
Lag.
Lag. Yeah, there's some lag. Can you look at how bad the lag is on your screen? Thank you. There is the Aasimar. One of the ways in Pathfinder that they show up is just you have like somebody who's like super good, and so the gods of good will try to bless this person with a baby, but they have to make it through the trial of having a baby. And they even have it work with same-sex couples, where just one of them just gets horribly sick for 9 months. And then, like,
the story of
the 9th day, they're racked with pain, and then it passes, and baby is at their doorstep in a little basket. It's like, I love that, right? It's like, hey, these are my dads. What happened? An angel dropped me off. No big.
No big.
What, like, it's weird?
What, it doesn't happen where you live at?
That's not normal? I thought that was normal. Do you not normally have, like, just angels popping off
it happened
visiting you?
It happened in the good book.
Yeah.
It could happen in anybody.
You know what? I think I need to turn down our latency. So let me mess with that real fast. Because we're getting lag. Nobody wants to deal with lag.
Nobody likes lag.
Advanced. Yeah, that'll work. Alright, so we'll be on a delay compared to the chat, but it's fine. Okay. That should fix our lag issues. Whoop. I put my butt to the camera. And yeah, there's that weird artifact glitch anytime the fireplace loops, I'm afraid. So, the basic gist of what we're doing at the moment, I've been DMing for years. Chris is new to DMing. So we're just talking about DMing.
Pretty much.
That's how this goes. Just trying to give him some ideas on
Also,
how
you out there,
to
the
run a
viewers.
game. Yeah. Anyway, so we have do you want to consider what races are available in your game?
Okay, so in my game, I like to have people have the freedom of choice.
Yeah, so let's let them do everything.
Right. Just like what do you want? What do you want, and how would your character be there?
Now, some of those are going to require more explanation.
Right. Which and then like if me as a DM would help you out, like to get you on the right path
Yeah.
to put your character in that certain
So
story.
with every race you put in, you have to be able to answer how are they here, and with some that's easier.
Like saying, oh, I want to play a what's it called?
A Simic hybrid.
No, not a Minotaur. What's it? Half man, half human, half.
Minotaur.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Minotaur.
Minotaurs are just there. That's
Right.
fine.
Right, Minotaurs just there.
People
Oh,
can just accept Minotaurs. They're a staple part of fantasy.
Right.
But something like a Simic hybrid where they're like built. Do you have mad scientists running around? Do you have a Simic guild?
Right. Is
Do you have?
because in the systemic thing is that they come from a place where it's all people just making more of them.
Well, yeah,
It's a hive. It's hive.
Well, not really. The Simic Combine is like you're one of the super soldier experiments.
Right.
Right? So you have to have mad scientists making super soldiers. Right? And if you don't have that, then Simic hybrids don't make sense there.
Right.
Now, you could also do it with something like maybe you have like drow experiments. Right? Maybe you have... I'm trying to think of what another good one would be. Maybe you have something similar to like the old ones from like Call of Cthulhu, and they are like mutating people, right? And like maybe that's you're using as like a Cthulhu-ish branch of the Aasimar Tiefling list, right? And that's gonna be different. That's gonna be weird. Right? Thank you for following AM2357. Appreciate the follow there.
Thank you very much.
And if you can do the shout out thing in the chat, please. Because Chris has his own channel, The Black Alorian.
All right. It's not up yet, but it will be.
Yeah,
And-
we're working on it.
in the coming weeks.
And I'm hoping we got this chat command to work properly.
Word?
What? Yes, space and then all one word.
Oh, jeez.
Hit enter, and then Streamlabs should go in. No, no. Oh, sorry, not capital SO, lowercase so. Let's try that again. I'm sorry. I said it didn't matter, and I lied. And it might not be working properly. Nah, Streamlabs isn't liking us today. From the look of it, just Nightbot. So yeah, sorry. Go follow the Black Alorian. He's gonna have stuff up. I've been giving him some help on
Tips and
what to do there.
pointers.
Yeah, we've been doing this for a couple of years now. And I missed it when we weren't doing it. That's why we're trying to do it every day. Anyway, so like consider like why are the Vidalcan here? They can just be there, because a blue dude is no weirder than an elf.
Right. Basically, the Avatar.
Right.
From the other movie.
Right, but if you have, like, a dude who grows crab claws when he hits 5th level, that takes a bit more explaining.
Why did he grow crab claws?
Why does he have crab claws? And so, like, possible explanations. Mad scientists. Cthulhu blood. Went to Red Lobster and ate too much. Lots of good explanations in there.
Old Bay seasoning!
Too much cheddar biscuits.
Cut off his hand and put on some Old Bay. You got lots of options there.
Blessed by the ocean god.
Blessed by the ocean god. They're the chosen of the ocean god, and that's why... Or actually, let me look at the Simic Hybrid's abilities here real quick. Because I think there's like some lizard shit.
Or, basic evolution. They lived in an aquatic area. They grew crab.
Well, they're just part crab. Just deal with it.
Right.
So, like, let's see here. Simic Hybrid, they can get Manta Glide, Nimble Climber, Underwater Adaptation, Grappling Appendages, which can be claws or tentacles, Carapace, Acid Spit. So, yeah, Blessed by the Ocean God works here.
Right. Cursed by the Ocean God?
Cursed by the Ocean God. Maybe it's something like this was a fishing village that pissed off the Ocean God, and now
Plague.
everyone coming from here, if they get to a certain age, they grow
Right. And you
fish-like
and the
traits.
thing is, you can name the curse or blessing anything you wanted.
Right, they don't have to be called Simic hybrids. You
Right.
can change them. Maybe they're, let's name our Ocean God Ween. Their Ween's cursed.
Right. The curse of the Ween.
And those of you who know why I just named the Ocean God Ween, good job.
I don't get it, but okay.
Oh, do you know the song Ocean Man?
No.
Ocean Man, take me
Ah,
by the hand.
there you go.
The band who played that is called Ween.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all the joke was.
I didn't know what the band name was.
And Red got it right away. Thank you, Red.
She's like that, like voice in the background, like ha, just
You
laughing
could
all the
also
time.
make that your wind god. Ween has another song called Waving My Dick in the Wind. Anyway.
All right, I'm not going to judge anybody's music taste.
Yeah, they're a fun band. Okay, so those are the only two songs from them I know. They pop up on my Spotify list. Anyway.
They pop up.
They do. There's Discover Weekly.
A single god in charge of earth, wind, and fire.
His holy month is September.
I hate you both.
Specifically, the
I hate you
21st
both.
night of September.
I hate you both.
He loves the autumnal equinox.
I
Anyway.
hate you both. And you must always remember.
Mm-hmm. You must remember the autumnal equinox. And like that's one of his sayings. And then everyone will go like, wait, when is the autumnal equinox? Oh, it's on the 21st night of September. Then they get mad. And that's always great. Okay, another thing you can do is like, so you notice that we have a decent world already here.
Right.
We don't need to expand it beyond this for a long time. Remember I kept saying we're going to talk about the rule of 6?
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the rule of 6. Hand me that monster manual again, if you will. That's the Ecologies book. Hello, waifu catalog. Let's
Waifu.
go.
Swipe
I have and there was a bunch of people making like a cheap version of it where they just taped over monster manual, and I got mad, so I made a real meme version of it. I'm surprisingly proud of that.
I have not yet discovered the waifus in the monster manual.
Okay, so we are gonna go to. Do we have monsters listed by challenge rating in 5th? I know they do in 3rd. I'm feeling they don't here.
I think it might be alphabetical order.
I think so. I could have sworn there's a list of them by challenge rating somewhere. Probably not. But yeah, no. There is in Pathfinder, so it's easier to do that. But if we go through the monsters here, right? Our answer is, let's say we have a rookie soldier, an experienced soldier, and a veteran soldier. All right? And we're going to go over some monsters. We're going to say, could this soldier deal with this thing? Right? And my general answer is, the rookie can deal with challenge rating 1 and lower. The experienced can deal with 3 and lower. The veteran can do 6 and lower. You're going to get almost nobody who can beat challenge rating 6. Right?
By themselves.
By themselves. Because that's the hero's job. Right? So, like, for example, an Arakara, it's a birdman. Do you think a rookie soldier could fight a birdman? Just some random birdman?
What's the challenge engine?
Well, don't worry about that.
Oh.
Just think about just some random birdman.
No.
Why not?
Well, because I don't think if they're inexperienced, they wouldn't know how to deal with somebody who has flying.
Okay, sure. What if they have bow and arrow?
They might have a better, higher chance.
Yeah, so like then just just a civilian one, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'd say a rookie guy could probably just beat some random bird person, right? Now, if it was like a bird soldier, that's different, right? We might need the experienced soldier to beat the bird soldier. Yeah, Arakakra is a challenge rating 1/4.
Okay.
So, you have just normal dude versus bird soldier. Birdman. Yeah, sure. All right, let's go through here. Let's go to another critter here. Do you think our rookie soldier could beat a banshee?
No.
What about our experienced soldier?
probably the veteran can beat a Banshee.
The veteran could beat a Banshee. Well, Banshee's a 4, so I think you got the right idea there. Right? What about a Beholder?
Hero.
You'd take a hero, and they're challenge rating 13, exactly. Right?
Beholders are evil.
A Chimera.
Hero also.
Well, a Chimera, we might get that veteran soldier getting lucky. He's going to stumble in, bleeding, drop his shield to the ground, but you could see it, right?
Like he came out victorious.
Right. Like, he came out victorious, he holds the goat head of it up, collapses in the middle of the town square, right? But you know that rookie's getting eaten.
Right.
In, like, a minute, right? You know that experienced dude, he's getting torched. But, you know, the veteran, he might be like, fucking did it. Collapse.
My two comrades died, but I did it.
Right. Maybe the same with the Cyclops, right? Because, I mean, even the original Cyclops myth, it was, you know, they had to sneak up on it and be treacherous, but they did it.
Right.
They blinded Polyphemus with the ember from the fireplace, right? Meanwhile, we go over here to, like, a Baelor. No, a Baelor shows up. There's no more village. The village is gone. What do you mean there's no more village? I mean it's gone. It's in the hole. The village is gone. Most of the devils are in the same group, right? Like maybe an imp.
Yeah, imp's more of a lesser.
Imp's an annoyance, right?
Yeah.
Spine Devil is the one that gives the soldiers a run for their money, right?
Right.
Pit Fiend shows up.
Oh,
Welcome to your new installation of Hell.
Right.
Over here you can get some Hell Bucks. We use them here in Hell.
We have salsa ice cream. Don't worry, it's always melted.
It's the softest of serve. Liquid. Oh man, it's so cold. Thankfully, the ice cream is now frozen. So's the hot chocolate. Ah!
Frozen hot chocolate.
Oh god, it's just chalky ice. Sorry, hot chocolate. I thought we were clear about that.
I hate you so much.
Yeah, like Hell is just full of puns. Like you look at the monsters and you kind of can logically think about it, right? Like this here flame skull would give most soldiers a run for their money. It's a flaming fucking skull that flies around throwing fireballs out of its mouth. But that veteran soldier might be like lucky,
Right.
right? This Galebdur, he's like a dude made of rock. That's gonna be hard for anybody. Rock hard even, right? So you can look at that and kind of come to the conclusion that no mortal man is going to be able to beat anything over challenge rating 6. And even challenge rating 6 is going to give them a hard-ass time.
Unless you give them, like, boons of, like, armor and gear that, like...
Well, because remember... Alright, so here's kind of the cheat. And this was partially true in 3rd edition, right? And this is how I think of monsters and NPCs. There are 3 types of classes. Alright? We have what we're going to call heroic classes, villainous classes, and NPC classes. Alright? Your players only have access to heroic classes. And heroic classes are going to have different abilities than the other 2. NPC classes are going to be weaker than heroic classes on every front. Okay? Villain classes are going to be just as strong as the PCs, but they're their own unique thing. Okay? So, for example, I can be a wizard with the necromancy school as a hero, but I can't be a necromancer as a class, if that makes sense.
Kinda
villain could.
Kind of like a cleric with the what's it called? What's the subclass called?
Death Domain?
Yeah, it's Death Domain.
Right. That's different than, say, a death cultist.
Right.
Right? A cultist and a cleric should be similar, but they're different, right? And that's how you get away with just making monsters, right? Even when it's a human, and it's like, oh, this is clearly a human cleric, but he's doing things a cleric can't do. Well, he has a different class that you guys don't have access to.
Right.
Some players are going to go, oh, but I want to play that. And it's like, no, you don't. That's for bad guys.
Right. Unless you're going to run an evil campaign.
And even if you're running an evil campaign, still play it with the heroic classes. Just let them play the evil versions of those classes. Right? Because the idea is that this is for bad guys. Right? And by bad guys, I mean antagonists. So you have protagonist classes, antagonist classes. Then we have supporting characters. If I have a fighter over on one side, and I might have a... trying to think of a decent name for it. Fighting man. Or warrior. Or, not warrior. Soldier. over on the villainous side, but then I'd have like warrior for the NPC. Town guard is not going to be a full fighter. Town guard does not get all your cool fighter abilities. He's going to have fewer hit points. He's going to have lesser powers.
He doesn't get 2 attacks per turn.
Right. He doesn't need all that shit. Because what is his normal threat?
Probably like...
Yeah, the normal threat of the town guard is Mike's off the wagon again. And now he's throwing his keys at people and then complaining they stole his keys.
Oh no!
Right?
The town. My purse.
The town guard is a bad episode of Cops or Reno 911. Right? Meanwhile, the fighter is not dealing with Mike throwing his keys at people and saying they're stealing. Mike, Cheryl left you because of this, Mike. You need to stop. Instead, the fighter is dealing with like, yeah, Kobold stole all the babies. Just all the babies.
All of them.
If you have a baby, I have bad news. The Kobold stole it. I got it back. Here's my sack full of babies. Why is it leaking? I didn't change the babies. Here you go. That's the fighter's problem, right?
Right.
And the villain's problem, who's the villain normally fighting against? He's not fighting Mike, he's fighting the town guard. Right? And the villain has to be stronger than the town guard.
Right.
Because otherwise, what's the point of using a hero? If your villain is Mike throwing his keys at people, you have either the shittiest or the best D&D campaign.
Right, because you can also say, oh, he's that kind of character, but for some reason he got lucky and got amazing powers.
Right, but if your villain is more like the evil wizard who keeps tempting Mike to make distractions for him,
right?
Well, that's a bit more fun.
Think of it as like, what's the movie?
Do you want to fight Dr. Doom, or do you want to fight Nameless Mook number 27
Nameless
forever?
Mook number 27 forever, because Dr. Doom is I wouldn't fight Dr. Doom.
No?
Dr. Doom, you know what kind of powers Dr. Doom has?
Yeah, but you could be Mr. Fantastic or the Human Torch.
No, that doesn't always work.
Okay.
Like actual comic book Doom is really powerful.
That's fair. Okay, I'm trying to see if there's anything new in there. Nope.
Nope.
Okay. Sadly, the highlighter I run in the chat is not functioning. Nor are the shout-out functions. I need to fix both of those.
It's all right.
All right. Anyway. So yeah, you have some very big options there, right? Your players are going to want to do more stuff with it. Don't worry about it. Level 6 is when your characters have surpassed human ability, right? Because let's consider what you get at level 7.
Depends on what class.
4th level spells?
Depends on what class.
Oh no, but let's consider a wizard.
Okay.
What do we have with the wizard at 4th level? At 7th level. 4th level spells. We have Cone of Cold. We're doing more damage than Fireball ever could. We have a Fireball that's bigger than Fireball now, right? We have, if you look over in Fighter, I think at that point you're at your 2 attacks per round. And you're at your, 4th ability score bonus? Maybe 3rd?
I think you get 2 attacks at level 4.
Yeah. But, you have all these things stacked up on each other at this point.
Right.
Right? You're at either so many ability score bonuses or so many feats that you're, running up walls and chucking your sword at somebody, and then it, bounces off the ground and comes back to your hand because you know just how to catch it.
Right, because you're Captain America for some reason.
Right. Except with a sword. And then you realize, oh man, I gotta stop doing this. I blunted the end of my sword.
Right.
But then you have, that's the beginning of being bigger and better. By level 20, you're fighting gods.
Pretty much.
And if not gods, then things that make gods... Yeah, you're fighting liches and pit fiends, and
dragons,
Baylors, and ancient dragons, and the sort of things that just make the gods have, they have to go, give me a moment, this is a lot. And that's important to remember, right? So you have your starting town, you have your bigger city that they can aspire to go to around, level 4 or 5. Oh, don't be tempted by the magic item shop. The magic item shop, it's neat.
I love magic
It's
items.
novel. Don't do it.
If you're going to do it, always go for the deck of many things.
No.
The deck of many things is amazing.
It is, but no. The deck of many things will ruin your game.
Or make it better.
or ruin it.
Make it better.
It depends on your definition of better.
I mean, if you pull a card that gives you, a lot of jewels and magic stuff, you're cool. But on the other hand, you can pull, where you have to fight a wraith.
Yeah.
And if anybody helps you, they get their own wraith to fight too. It can happen. Or you can get poofed out of plain existence and your friends can only find you with the wish spell.
The deck of many things is a holdover from the days when something happening once out of 100 times is balanced. No, it's not, because it happened one time at my table.
Hey.
That's the only time we ever got to do something.
When I run my game, I will have the deck of many things in there. But it's not going to be required. It's an option. You can pull from it, and we'll see what happens.
The deck of many things is purely an exercise in temptation, but you're going straight into artifacts. I'm saying +1 swords or something to be careful about. I'm saying the magic item store is something to be careful about, because the 5th edition is not built under the assumption that magic items are everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why the attunement system comes in.
Right.
Now, if you're playing...
I don't even think they have a gold requirement for magic items.
There is not anymore. They got rid of that. If you're playing 4th or 3rd, magic items are expected. For that same reason, I prefer inherent bonuses. Because inherent bonuses let you sidestep that problem and let the magic items be magic. So I know I'm getting into a different edition here, but I think it's useful in case you switch editions. In my opinion, the most boring weapon to hand somebody is a +1 sword. Right? What's exciting about a +1 sword?
Better chance to hit.
Right. Okay, but what about compare that to a flaming sword?
Okay, better chance to hit, but you can aspire to say, okay, hey, like the way I have a friend who runs it. You can get magic items, but it costs a lot of money to get that magic item. Like you want it to be in. He gives you chances to get it enchanted, but it costs a lot to do that.
Yeah.
So you have the option too.
I suppose that's fair. You could spend a lot of money to curse a real sword, but what you could also do, and this is me, I like to run with the inherent bonus, right? Mm-hmm. That +1 through +5 or +1 through +6 for 4th edition is not part of the sword. That's you. Right? That's your own internal magic. That part of the magic was within you all along. And you go, really? Was the fire within me all along? Bitch, no, that's the sword! You think everyone can just summon magic around their swords?
You had the strength inside of you. What about the fire? That's the sword. Okay?
That one's the sword. Nobody's denying that one's the sword.
You're not part dragonborn.
Now, because I still prefer 3rd and Pathfinder 1. I think there's things to be learned from 4th and 5th and Pathfinder 2 to bring into those.
Fifth is more like it's easier for everybody.
5th's much easier. On the other hand, I've taught Pathfinder 1 to literal children for years. So, I'm not saying that if you can't learn it, you're dumber than a child. I've had somebody interpret that statement that way. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is give yourself more credit. Right? A lot of people look at it and go like, this is so much math. I mean, you're not wrong.
You're not.
There is so much math.
Unless you use a website and it does all the math for you.
That's true. Or get math help from your friends. If your friends are not willing to help you with the math, get new friends. Because the old adage is true. No D&D is better than bad D&D. Right? It's not like pizza. Good pizza is better than bad pizza. Bad pizza is better than no pizza. Right? It's very hard to have pizza worse than no pizza. That is at that point it's charcoal. You have a brick that melted a cutting board into it, right? But if it's still a pizza, it's gonna be good.
As long as it's edible.
As long as it's edible, you're good, right? In order to make it really terrible, you have to add syringes, and maybe I'm feeling diamonds, magical diamonds. You can't do that to pizza, right? D&D on the other hand. Good D&D is better than no D&D, hands down.
Hands down.
Mediocre D&D is better than no D&D. But bad D&D, you don't need that in your life. So let's go over some examples of bad D&D so you know what not to do. Alright? 1. Please talk with your players what they're comfortable with. If you do this, do not spring the uncomfortable shit on your players.
So guys, did the power just go out?
No.
You sure?
Well, we're still streaming and my computer's still on.
Oh, never mind. I guess that's just... Oh, shit, never mind. Okay, I know
You unplug something?
Yes, I did.
Okay. We're all good. I would assume the power is not out. What with that working, and that working, and that working? Unplugging things, though, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Unplugging things affects millions of Americans every day. Please, won't you do your part? I was halfway expecting you to bust out within the arms of an angel. Anyway, so like, let's say we have a group, and somebody in the group says, "Hey, can we not do any like body horror involving parasites?" Right? On the one hand, yeah, that cuts you out of like 6 monsters in the monster manual and the fiend folio, right? Oh no, I can't use the tongue lasher or the rock grubs. On the other hand, there's literally 50 other challenge rating 1 monsters. Just be nice to your friend and don't use the rock grubs.
Right. Also the tidbit. Sorry to go off tangent.
Yeah, no problem.
But make sure when you have a team, when you have players, they're all on the same page. I have a problem right now with my group, and we're all just everybody in the campaign is just selfish.
Okay, so yeah, that's the next part we're going to get into.
Okay.
But yeah, so if you're DMing and you're having like one player says, "Hey, please avoid anything involving like, you know, sexual stuff, just fade to black." Fade to fucking black, right? Even if the dude goes like, "And then I sleep with the barmaid." That's it. That's the end of the statement. And if your friend tries to role play him screwing the barmaid, kick your friend out. Because he's not respecting your other friends. And also, what the hell, man? We're here for, like, beer and pizza and Dungeons and Dragons. We are not here for your weird fantasy about the fake barmaid who kind of looks like Marisa Tomei. What the hell?
I've actually lived out that second scenario. It sucks and I hate it.
It's the worst.
I have flashbacks now. Horrible, terrible flashbacks anytime I hear the song Hungry Eyes. Because of a terrible, shitty Star Wars campaign. Where this happened to me. It sucked.
Oh god, Pikachu went clear. So I'd say, look at this Pikachu. You would make him sad. Ah, I dropped the Pikachu.
See, that's how sad you made him.
That's how sad you made him. By making him have to think of these things. Okay? So don't do that. Don't make your friends uncomfortable for the hell of it. Now, there's a point of uncomfortable you're going to have. It's the anxiety of my character might die. So like, the wizard throws a fireball into the whole room and everyone takes 70 points of damage. It's fire damage. And like the tiefling's fine, the barbarian's fine. And everyone else is like...
Your wizard's not fine.
Your wizard's not fine, your rogue's not fine.
And your cleric's not fine.
The type of uncomfortable they're feeling is my character might die. That's part of the game.
Right.
Right? If then you have... And then the wizard casts Evard's black tentacles and they start going up your cleric's pant... No. Kick out that DM, and if you're that DM, knock it off. Now, the second one, make sure everyone's on the same page. Have a session 0. Explain to your party what kind of game you're having, right? Explain to them what you're expecting out of this game, and do not have your party, like, go, this is to avoid the brothel situation, right? This is so you have the party that goes, oh, well, I know we're going to go fight the Lich King, and we have to go do X, Y, Z, and W, right? And you're like, yeah, that's what you have to do. You can do it your way. Don't punish your players for doing it their way.
Right.
But if your players are then, like, backstabbing each other for no reason, no, you guys are a team. Teams are important. You should be like the A-Team or the Ninja Turtles. Stop being jerks.
I mean, one of you probably going to be a jerk, which is usually the rogue, but, you know.
Rogues, knock it off. Rogues and wizards are typically the source of it. Sometimes fighters, very rarely the cleric player. I'm not saying it's impossible for it to be the cleric player.
I would admit playing the cleric is hard.
Yeah, but it's not often going to be the cleric player being the jerk, right?
Because you can't. You have the healer. You're the healer.
Well, I mean, like, the main thing you can do, and I've seen somebody do this, is like, yes, I'm a lawful neutral cleric of the god of medicine. Please, heal me. All right, so I need you to sign here. Fill out your previous medical history. And there is a 50 gold copay.
See, I would play that kind of character.
I would do that.
Who charges you to get healed.
It's like, why are you doing this? You don't have insurance with my temple?
Also, it costs materials to heal people and bring them back to life.
Yeah, if your character has to get brought back, understand that you should probably contribute to part of the pool that brought you back. And if there's a party pool, put into the party pool. Please put into the party pool. That pool is there to save people like you. Okay? So yeah, have the session 0, so everyone's on the same page. You shouldn't have the person who's like, oh, I'm going to steal the cleric's holy symbol because it's his turn in the barrel. I'm going to steal the wizard's spell component pouch. Now, am I saying the rogue can't steal from anybody?
No.
Hell no. If there's an NPC at the bar who was a jerk to your guy, go steal his pants. You have my full blessing to go steal his pants.
Or somebody boasting about how much money they have. Go ahead.
Yeah. If there's a guy who's being a jerk to you, and you're like, hey, he's got one of them prosthetic leg grafts. I need his leg. That's fine. Alright? Especially if you're like in Starfinder and you're playing a Yosoki Envoy. Or a Yosoki Scoundrel or Mechanic. Totally do it. But, like, on the other hand, don't turn on your party. Right? I will say there are exceptions. If your character is running off of information that only you have... Why are you dancing?
I have a story. That
Okay,
is an exception.
Okay, hold up. If you are running... if your character knows information the rest of the party doesn't, and you don't share it because you know it'll be more dramatic, that's one thing. Right? But on the other hand, communication is important. Maybe tell somebody why you stole everything and ran off. Right? D&D works better when you're planning it like a heist movie. So it shouldn't be, and I have to betray you guys. It shouldn't be like, and then I betrayed them all. It should be, okay, so I'm going to trade you guys in to betray, like I'm betraying you. But don't worry, I have a plan. And then the leverage theme plays in the background. And that works out good. Freyr, who is off camera currently, has a story of an exception to betraying your party, if you could share with us.
Okay, so we were playing a custom campaign setting for Pathfinder. And I was playing a desert race. And because this particular DM didn't like divine spellcasters, and that was my wheelhouse. I love divine spellcasters, especially druids. I love playing druids. So I talked him into letting me play a druid. The caveat was I had to be chaotic neutral, and I had to be really suspicious and hate other spellcasters of my own race. And I was like, I'm fine with that. I can totally RP that. And I did. And the first interaction I had was with one of the other players who was playing a member of my race, and I thought he was using magic. So we had a bit of a confrontation. This is the first day of the campaign. And my character is having a confrontation with another party member. It went fine, because he wasn't a spellcaster. We got along great after that. Then, one of our other characters, our main spellcaster, died, because he was an idiot.
Usually happens.
Yeah, so he made a new character. And as he was making his new character, he's like, oh, I'm going to be a spellcaster of you and the other player's race. And I was like, oh, you don't want to do that. I was like...
You warned him.
Yeah, I specifically
before he
warned
made
him
the character.
10 times. Are you sure you want to do that? Oh yeah, well our characters will be friends. And I went, no they won't. And he wouldn't listen to me, but he made the character anyway. First interaction my character and his character had, my character is immediately antagonistic. And he's like, where's your character being such a dick? I'm like, I'm actually being in character. And the DM's like, yeah, they are. And then it kept getting worse because that character started to be antagonistic to my character, which made the situation go downhill pretty fast until it became, I'm now poisoning your character behind your character's back, nobody saw it happen. And, oh, this random NPC we wandered into is helping me. And that's how I was the only one to survive a TPK, because...
You're the one that killed everybody.
Oh no, I sided with the person who killed everybody.
No.
Who was the NPC who was helping me poison the one other character.
But you warned them that your character wouldn't be friendly with them.
Yes.
And they continued to make that type of character.
Red.
Hello, Seaberry. Yes, Red is off camera.
Yeah.
We do plan on pulling Red on camera for the stream later tonight.
Yes. I was busy putting my room together because I finally finished the renovation, quote unquote renovation, to my room. So it's finally together.
She didn't put it together how we did.
Yeah, you guys helped me build
We
my
helped
bed.
quite a bit.
But it was like I had to make my bed and finish all that stuff. So now it's completely put together. It looks really great. I'm very satisfied. But yeah, so that was basically how I managed to survive a TPK, by being the one character to be an ass.
So, like, that's the other thing. Like I said, players, DMs don't aim for TPKs. If you're going to do a meat grinder, tell your players that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Don't, like, surprise them. For a good example, if I told Freyr, if I didn't tell Freyr we're going to do a TPK, and Freyr came along with someone like their Pathfinder Sorcerer, or their two Kenra boys, or characters that they spent hours and hours making.
Is that correct? Archplay games?
Alk.
Oh, Alchemyprime games.
Sorry.
ALCH.
ALCH. Plays.
Oh,
Sorry, mate. You can hold down on the one you did and add the S.
I can't. I took forget.
Anyway, if you're going to run a meat grinder, warn your players. Because I know if I told Freyr I'm going to run a meat grinder, they'd come along with a fighter that they made in like a half hour. It's like the names from a random name generator, let's roll. Is there a chance they'll become a great character in the future? Yes. But we're not going to get a 5-page backstory out of this guy because there's a good chance he's dying by room 2. Right? That makes sense for you?
Right.
If I'm running what's going to be a long arcing campaign, like if I pulled out one of the Pathfinder adventure paths, or one of the big books like Descent into Avernus, was it Horde of the Dragon Queen? Hordes of the Abyss, Rise of the Dragon
Yeah,
Queen.
here you go.
Yeah, one of those, right? Then you know that you should spend time making this character. Because there's a very good chance that, well, one, if they die, then that's just, you rolled bad. That's always a risk. But you know that they might make it. Also, throwing this one out there. I am personally a proponent of the movement of not using death as the biggest problem. Okay? Mm-hmm. For example, what is it? The Elemental Evil one. Princes of Elemental Evil? Princes of the Apocalypse?
Prince of the Apocalypse.
Prince of the Apocalypse. Alright. If we're running that, and I get a TPK, here's what I'm going to do. There's an old 3rd edition monster that lives in the element. They don't live in the elemental planes, but if I told you they lived on the planet Earth, you would accept it. Right? They're called the Maugs. Alright? They're big rock dudes. So if I told you they live in the elemental planet Earth, big rock dudes, that tracks.
Right.
Right? That adds up. The Maugs can't heal. They're incapable of healing. They're artificially created. Right? They spring into being as like systems of pulleys and levers within their bodies. Right? So their concept of a broken arm is pop it off, build a new arm, pop it on, and the magic animates it. So what do they do when they have a party of like, here's a Tengu and a gnome and 2 humans and a Triton? And they find them after the TPK. Well, your poor little... What I would do is I would have this injury table, right? And I'd say, okay, you guys need to make... depending on how far below your death threshold you got down to, because it's TPK, everybody died.
Right.
Right? I'd say for every 10 hit points lower, you have to roll 1 con save. Right? That seem fair?
It seems fair.
Alright. So, like, your fighter may have been, like, 10 below, he needs to make 1 con save. Right? That's fair?
It's fair.
Little gnome wizard might be, like, 70 below, and so he needs to roll 7 of them. Each one you fail, I'm giving you an injury. So you wake up, and it's like the Maugs look at you and go like, oh, we weren't certain if you'd be alright, but welcome. You're fine. Like, you made your save. So it's like, you're beat up. But they go, here, have some stone soup. There's literal rocks in this. It's stone soup. What were you expecting, human? So you drink the thin, salty broth and nurse yourself back to health, right? And it's like, we're sorry about your friend. We couldn't replace his heart. We have to let it heal in its weird, organic way. Oh. Wait. What did you also try to heal? Oh, we were able to replace both arms and legs, as well as most of his back. What? And so then your little gnome comes out on, like, tank treads with, like, an arm cannon and a little robot hand. He's like,
I want to feel love.
what did you do to me? Go full Doom Patrol with it. If the fighter failed every save, just make him into Cliff Steele. Make him play as a Warforged now. He's a robot brain in a body. Or he's a brain in a robot body. Like, have fun with it, right?
Right.
Death doesn't have to be the end. Right? We didn't have to kill your character. But now, here's your new stakes. You have a horrible robot body that everyone thinks is ugly. Right? You have tank treads, and stairs are now your greatest weakness.
And a higher constitution next time to survive the next encounter.
Right, exactly. But then let's go the other way. What if you died from psychic damage? Wisdom saves instead.
Right, and you can, and that way you can also play it as, like, let's say you play a high whiz character.
Yeah.
You die because of psychic damage. Now you can have the same character, but now he has a lower whiz save because that's how he died.
See, that's not what I'm going with, but I like what you're going with. What I'm saying is, like, now this one, since you died from psychic damage, you make a will save on this one, right? And if you pass, you wake up and it just feels like it was a horrible nightmare, right? It's like your heart stopped for a while, your skin's a little pale in some places, you're shaky, but it was just like the worst nightmare, right? But the poor guy who failed his will save? Oh, now he has, like, horrible fears. He closes his eyes and still sees the aboleth coming after him.
Basically schizophrenia.
No, it's schizophrenia. PTSD.
Okay.
Right? He gets to the water, he's now hydrophobic. It's like, no, I know what lives in there, I'm not going back in the water. Right? Which, mind you, does turn into that bit from the gamers. Hey, what happened to your character's crippling fear of water? Oh, yeah. Ah! And then they have to, like, knock out the barbarian and carry him across the water. But you can do stuff like that, right? There was an example on Matt Colville's YouTube show of your character reaches for the artifact as he's trying to climb up a cliff. You fail the climb check, you skid down 10 feet instead of just falling to your death. Right? Oh, you fall again and you drop your gun. And the gun's now tumbling into the abyss below.
Scary.
Right? You can still get him out. You failed twice, but you could eventually climb out. You lost that gun forever, man.
Right.
It's gone for... That magic sword that you loved more than anything, your +3 acid touch sword, it's gone. It's gone forever. Now, that also gives you as a DM, though, a neat idea for, like... Let's say it's 6 months later. You're... What would this be? 20 more sessions into the future? Your player has, like, resigned to never getting a magic sword again. He finally got a +1 short sword. Or, like, a +1 ghost touch short sword. It's like, okay, I can fight ghosts. I missed my acid touch sword, but whatever. And then you, like, come across the guy who stole the artifact. And he's like, hello, hello. Do you remember this, my friend?
I'm sorry, you said hello, hello, and now all I can think about is hello, hello.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That stupid Bono song.
Oh. And so it's like, I don't know why I think all drow should be German, but here we are. And he's like, pulls out your sword and fights you with it.
Aw, that sucks.
But that's a good, like, reunion with the villain.
Right.
Right? And now your fighter is, like, invested. It's like, I'm gonna beat this guy's ass and get my sword back. Right? You can go very, very fun with it. Right? Don't think killing your players is your goal as a DM. Your goal is to make things fun. Don't over-explain things unless it needs to be explained. Why are Goliaths here? They just live in the mountains. Don't worry about it.
They're mountain people.
They're mountain people. Don't worry about it.
They're quote unquote herd move.
Yeah. Why do minotaurs exist? Bulls. I don't know.
Magic bulls.
They're just natural. They exist. Whatever, right?
Why do you exist?
Yeah, why are humans here, huh? Nobody asks that.
Right? You just assume humans have to be everywhere?
It was like the Warforged. Oh, they were invented so many years ago, and they came to life.
Right.
Right? Some races need a bit more explanation. You can do it in 2 sentences. Right? Every race can be explained in 2 sentences. That's fine. Classes, your world only needs the main 11. Right? And in fact, your world doesn't even need the main 11. You can say, this is a world where the gods are dead, and clerics and paladins don't work.
Buy a lot of potions.
Yeah, buy a lot of potions. Well, you still have bards and druids.
Yeah, but on a big scale, they're not really, you know, heal heavy.
Or you could say, oh, we don't have gods, but the clerics are just white mages.
Okay, that works.
Right? You can always explain it away. Personally, I think it's always fun if you're doing 5th to add the Artificer and the Mystic.
Artificer, amazing class, because if your DM doesn't do magic weapons, you can make them yourself.
That's true. The Mystic, I think, is a lot of fun, because they use spellcasting in a very different way than everyone else, because they're not casting spells, they just have magical powers. They are a lot of fun. And then, like I said, mix it up, right? If your players want to do something, let your players do it, but understand that actions have consequences.
True.
Biggest example I have, similar to Red's example from earlier, I had one player who was desperate to play a Dark Elf because he was 12 and he needed to be super edge. And the rest of us were like 14, so, you know, it was normal. But he's like, no, I gotta play a Drow Sorcerer. I mean, sure, but you're in a place where they don't like the Drow. So understand that they're going to be mean to you. And then he gets mad they're mean to him. Just shock Pikachu face all over. And then when they get to the end, the mayor snubs him. Right? He splits the treasure amongst everyone else. Splits amongst the dwarf, the halfling, and the 2 humans. But not the Drow. And, like, the human even has to cover him from going like, oh, this is our pet Drow. We beat his raiding party, and we took him as a prisoner. It's like, oh, you guys are great warriors then. And the Drow's like getting madder and madder. And then the rest of the party had decided, well, when we get out of here, we'll just give you your share of the treasure. You still helped. You lit all those dudes on fire. You're a sorcerer. Great job. But the player got so mad, he decided, I'm going to go pickpocket the mayor. Buddy, you don't have sleight of hand as a skill. You're not a rogue. You're a sorcerer. You light shit on fire. So, this does not dissuade him. I warned him. You heard me. I warned him twice. The rest of the party had a solution. He pickpockets the mayor. The captain of the town guard sees him.
Now, let's say if you don't have sleight of hand, but you know everybody still has that stat, and let's say you roll good enough to succeed.
Oh, then you'd be fine.
Okay, so you don't do it where it's like if you don't have it, you can't do it. More like it's a chance.
There's a chance. It's just a much harder chance,
right?
Compared to the guy who gets to like add +8 and roll twice.
Right. You have a +2. I mean, if you rolled an 18 and you got
he had a -1 and he tried this.
Oh, why?
Because he was convinced. It's a game where you can do anything. That doesn't mean it's a game where you should.
Right. And me personally, I don't believe in absolutes with rolling dice. Like a nat 20 doesn't mean you automatically succeed in everything. And a nat 1 doesn't mean the worst thing is going to happen to you.
A nat 1 just means it's an automatic miss. And nat 20 means it's an automatic hit.
Now, you can play with severity to see what happens, but it doesn't always have to be, the worst kind of severity. Like, let's say you're in combat, you roll a natural 1. So you miss, and the guy takes an opportunity attack to hit you. Yeah, that's fine.
I personally like using, though this is for Pathfinder and not for D&D, it still works there, iCrit and iFumble. They are wonderful little apps available for Android and such. So like, let's say you roll a crit and you just don't want to do double damage or add max damage again, right? What kind of weapon are you using?
I'd say +2 greatsword.
Okay, greatsword. So we hit the slashing button. Normal damage. Target has to make a con save. Well, it says 1 con damage, but that's not a thing in 5th. So we'd say he makes a con save. If he doesn't make his save, he can't speak or bite until healed because you shattered his jaw.
Yeah, and that's amazing. Or you can disarm somebody.
Yeah, you can knock the thing out of his arm. You can break his weapon. There's things you can do, right? Part of this, it's a game about being creative. It's a game about role playing.
Right.
This isn't Combat Simulator 2020.
Right. And I also think that you shouldn't be like so depressed that when you roll bad, it's just a game of chance. It happens. Me personally, when I roll bad, I think it's even better because I want to know I want to see the creativity of the DM and what's it going to make me do. I've already had a character die because of the choice I made. I chose to serve an evil god. I renounced the evil god. I got rectified for it.
See, I would have the evil god start sending people after
you.
you.
That's how I died. He sent people after me, and I died in combat.
Okay, then that's
You
fair.
know, and that was my
some
fault.
people are like just immediate bolt of
No,
lightning.
no, not bolt of lightning. I served the evil god of Micro. I renounced him. He sent his acolytes after me.
Mm-hmm.
I died in combat.
Mm-hmm.
I learned my lesson. I made a new character.
Fun.
It continued, and now I have fun with my new character. It was more of a practice for me, and then I gave new life to my new character.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Well, we've been doing this for about an hour and a half now, or 2 hours. 2 hours.
2 hours.
So I think this is going to be it for today. Thank you for joining us with our fireside chat with our totally real fireplace.
Totally real
Ow.
fire. Hot.
Don't touch the fireplace. That's how I burnt myself just now.
Right. You
Make sure you are following the Black Alorian so you can see all of Chris's streams. Make sure you're following here for all of our streams.
Also, on Mondays and Tuesdays, me and my group, the Smoking Dragons, do stream from 7 o'clock to 11, sometimes 1 o'clock in the morning.
So go ahead and follow them. Watch them do some D&D. And make sure you're subbed to us on YouTube with both Outplays Games and Alchemyprime.
Subscribe.
Tell
your friends.
Yes. And we will see you all later.
For games and fun.